All of us in here work in one avenue of bringing, and I'm sure at some point you've thought of it as the gift of homeownership. I have not quite the same, but a very similar story. I'm only a second-generation American. My grandmother came across the border at 13 from Chihuahua, Mexico. One of the things that so first of all, I want to share with you that this space here with real estate and lenders in other capacities, more than one channel, is one of very few places where we have the opportunity to have a collaborative environment, not focused on a transaction, okay? So what this gives us the opportunity to do is really learn how the other side of the transaction navigates through the gift of homeownership, the leverage of assets. One of the important things of that perspective is when you better understand the other side, it can create a more cohesive and collaborative transaction. But you also move out of a fixed mindset into a growth mindset. So, if you're a person who previously always was driven in fear by your competition, I'm going to challenge you to think of ways that you can find any person as a tool in your toolbox, okay? One of those things that we are going to continue to talk about as we enter these new market climates, right, is market share. That's not just a real estate term. We talk about this in lending too, different products. What's our market share? How do we become top of mind? How do we get more mind share, mind space? Okay? Our next speaker is really on a mission to teach you how to do that. How do you get more mind space? How do you get people to intuitively and instinctively think of you when the topic of real estate or lending comes up? Okay? There's a famous person who talks a lot about business, and he talks a lot about the rise of the internet, right? When everybody was like, that's not going to be a thing. It's going to happen with or without you. What's coming in our industry, nobody has a true magic 8-ball. Because if we had a true magic 8-ball, all of us would be swimming in our golden coins like Scrooge McDuck, not doing this, okay? So, it's going to happen. Fintech, tech lenders, okay? Real estate agents. You guys love when there's a boom and all the new people want to come in and do it on nights and weekends, right? What's happening in our industry is going to happen whether you like it or not, with or without you. You decide, okay? So the next speaker is going to give you some opportunity how to gain that market share of people's minds. David Greenspan.
Oh, yeah, there's people here. I love it. Hold on. We just got to get this up right now because nobody up in Canada is going to believe I was with another human being over the past few days. This is wild. Let me get that on. Oh, shit. Instagram's down again? Who just got a little heart palpitation right there? Right? Oh, my God, Instagram's down. What am I going to do? Guys, seriously, I came down from Canada. Took about 15 hours to drive down here. And if you wonder, why did you drive and not fly? You try getting out of Canada right now. It is some crazy stuff going on up there. But I know, the conversation that just happened about freedom. I love it. I love it because we Canadians don't know what that is. I just popped out of my igloo for the past, 2 years and all these people and everything else. No, but guys, seriously, I am absolutely jacked to be here. It is so much fun. In fact, talking about freedom, talking about Instagram. Has anybody seen the Instagram account called Freedom Convoy 2022? Anybody heard about the truckers? Check that stuff out. That is what we call freedom, and that is what makes this continent the most amazing continent on this planet Earth. Now, I'm totally pumped to be here, and as I talk about Instagram, and we talk about what's going on with social media, and we talk about what's going on in life, and I make this joke about the fact that Instagram is down. And I say it seriously. Like, when we sit back, we think to ourselves, oh my God, social media is not working right now. Can you imagine if Facebook and Instagram just stopped working? Like, would anybody here get like a little bit frazzled and think to yourself, oh my God, how am I gonna get my message out there? How am I gonna talk to people? How am I gonna communicate with people that I know? How am I gonna run my business? Anybody here like would think like, oh my God, what do I do next? Right? Because social media plays such a role in our world these days. But the thing is this. The thing is that when it comes to social, see, we got onto social media years ago to go and connect with people, to make friends with people, to learn about people, to get to know other people, to learn new things, whatever, socialize. And then we did a really good job at exploiting the shit out of those platforms and say, you know what, I'm gonna market the hell out of my business on this thing. But Zuck and his crew got pretty smart and they decided, well, hold on a second. If you're gonna try to spend, exploit like our platform to promote your business, and everybody's wondering how the hell we're making money, we got an idea. We're gonna make money off of you. And so what they end up doing is they end up saying, hey, you want to advertise your business, you need to pay to play. And we all know that. Because when it comes to the business pages, when it comes to all the business stuff that we do online, unless you're paying for it, nothing really happens anymore. They realize they got smart with this stuff. So the whole thing comes down to now, you think to yourself, you're like, okay, they're actually using me to sell their advertising space. They're using my content, whether it's, the picture of my dog. Side note, I don't have a dog, but you get it, right? Whether it's a picture of whatever, whether it's a life event, whether it's a business thing, they're using me and my content to drive more eyeballs back to their platform so they can make money. And they're doing a damn good job of it, right? Well, now you think to yourself, you go, okay, hold on a second. So they're the ones making money, and I know that my business stuff isn't really going that far anymore because of the fact that, we just can't spend enough money to keep being at the top there. So at the end of the day, when you look at it, we don't own the data. We don't own all the photos that we put up of our kids and our dogs and our sports and our life. We don't own any of it. You know what else we don't own? We don't own our contact list. You know all those followers you have on Instagram? All those friends you have on Facebook? I know they're yours, but they're not really yours. They're the platforms. Right? Think about it. If they shut down tomorrow, and I know that's like a stretch, dude, they ain't shutting down Facebook or Instagram. What kind of stuff is that? But what if? What if they just weren't working? Is your entire business running off of Facebook and Instagram? Your entire contact list? It shouldn't be. Because if they did close down tomorrow, you would lose everything. You'd lose all the contacts you'd have. You'd lose all the people you would have. You'd have no way to connect with anybody. And how would you get out there and build that mind share? How would you grow your business? See, this is why we need to own our audience. We've got to own our audience, and we've got to get those people off of social media into a contact list so we can stay in touch with them, so we can continue to, again, build that mind share. I mean, quite frankly, how many people have actually, refied somebody's house over social media? Or realtors have sold a house on social media. Maybe you connected with them on social, but did you actually do the deal on Facebook? No way. Nobody's going to do a deal for the biggest asset in their entire life on Facebook. Just think about it. This doesn't make any sense. So we've got to get these people off of social. We've got to get them into a place that we can continue to be in front of them. We can continue to build a relationship with them. Because one thing we know, we collectively are in a people business. So it's important that we connect with people. Because the more people we connect with, the more opportunities we get. Am I making sense here? Your business cannot, thank you to that one person in the audience. No, I'm joking. But our business cannot run on just social. It's got to be one channel that we use. It's a powerful channel. Yes, leverage it, but do not put all your eggs in that one basket. Now, here's what I want to do with you guys, okay? Does everybody have a paper napkin in front of them? Cool. I just like the napkin thing. I think it's cooler than a piece of paper. Just kind of makes it a little bit more of an allure. But I want to work out a marketing plan with you right now. I want to determine who's our audience, how much money do we have, what are we spending, what kind of strategy do we have in place, and I want you all to go through this little exercise with me here today. Okay, because it's going to be an eye-opener for you. Now, I've only got about 4 hours of your time, so... Are you laughing? You don't want me up here that long? No, joking. But we're going to do it quick. I don't have enough time to go through it in full detail, but I want you to do this with me, okay? The first thing I want you to do is look at those screens. You see that big T? We're going to call that the Mindshare Model T. I just want you to draw that on a piece of paper, on a napkin if you have it, because the napkin's just so much cooler. This is a marketing plan, by the way. Okay, so the first thing we're doing, we're putting that Model T on a piece of paper. Or on a napkin, okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to fill stuff out on the left side and the right side. So on the left-hand side, what I want you to do is I want you to write down The people you know, group number one. Now, these are all the people you know. Like, this is everybody you know. And you got to think about it. This can't just be, again, past clients, people that have done business with you. This has to be past clients. This has to be potential clients. This has to be friends and family, what we call circles of influence, influencers, people that have businesses that can tell other people about us. This could include your social media list. People I know. Now, on the right-hand side, what I want you guys to do is I want you to write down people I don't know. Yeah, that's simple. Right? Now, think about it. When we think about the people we know, knowing that that's where the majority of our business comes from, this has to include everybody. This has to include full contact information. This cannot just be, oh, I've got their email address or I've got them connected on social media. It can't be that. You got to have a mailing address. You got to have an email address. You got to have a phone number. You've got to know what kind of sports team they like. By the way, anybody here a hockey fan? Yeah. Anybody here a Toronto Maple Leafs fan? Yeah. Go Leafs, go. I love it. Cool. See, now we find commonalities with each other. So know what kind of sports teams they like. Know who their favorite sport team is. Know what they do for a living. Why? Because once you know what I do for a living, you know where I am during the day. If I'm driving a truck all day, you could call me during the day. But if I'm sitting at a desk job all day, or as a teller or something, you can't call me during the day. Make sense? So know what you can about me. The more you know about me, the more you can learn, the more you can feed back valuable content. Now you can take advantage of your contact list. So we got to have complete information that got to go into a database. Now, question for everybody, quick show of hands. Would you guys all agree that, say, 70 to 90% of your business comes from the people that know you, like you, and trust you? Quick show of hands on that. How many people are getting 79% of their business from people that know them, like them, and trust them? Okay, keep your hands up. Everybody look around. Okay, look around this room right now. Notice that the majority of people are saying yes. So we agree collectively that that is where our business comes from. Right? All right. So if we know that, why is it that every single time we think to ourselves, I don't have enough business. I don't know what to do to go get more business. I'm just going to go out and spend some money. Money is not the solution to complacency. Just because you don't feel like working doesn't mean that money all of a sudden is going to do something different for you. You got to go out and put in the effort. Every single day connecting with people. I mean, what's our big goal in this business? The big goal that each and every single one of us have on a daily basis. What's that? I love it. Building relationships. That's exactly it. Yet we get up every day and we measure ourselves based on how many deals we did. It's not the right way to measure ourselves, because if you do that, we know in this business, these things don't happen overnight. We're going to be sorely disappointed most days, right? Because we just don't get a deal every single day. Nice thing is when we get a deal, we can make some good money. But where do the deals come from? And what happens with the sphere of influence? What do we do with them to get there, though?
We build relationships and keep in contact with them.
There you go. And what does that build?
Trust.
Thank you. Trust. Okay, right? And we get trust. And trust is what we need to do a deal for somebody's biggest asset of their entire life. So if you're not out there every single day building relationships, connecting with your circle of influence, the people that know you, like you, trust you, building the trust factor with people, then every single day you're going to be out there chasing strangers. And then we're going to be waiting. We're going to be spending a lot of money, and we're not necessarily going to get the ROI that we're looking for. And look, I'm all for chasing strangers and getting more people into your database. But the one thing you got to keep in mind is they still have to go into the database. And that's the fundamental piece that most people are missing, is there's got to be a follow-up mechanism in place. Quick story on that. I'm thinking about renovating the basement. So I had a couple contractors come into the house, priced out the job. They both came separately. They don't know each other. They priced out the job. They both actually came in like right around the same money, which was pretty crazy. But I thought, so money's not really the biggest concern. This seems pretty legit. That was about like a month ago. So I'm in the car the other day with my wife, and she's like, honey, did you call the contractors? I'm like, no. She goes, why? I said, like, I'm busy. She goes, but like, we want to do the basement. I'm like, I got it, but I just don't have time. I'm like, they should be calling me. She's like, oh, they're busy. Ha. Hold on a second. This is their job. They want the deal. Why wouldn't they follow up? She's like, well, you really got to call them. I really want to do the basement. I'm like, honey, listen, quite frankly, I need them to follow up with me. And, Like, I'm still a little bit reserved here. Like, I haven't pulled the trigger for a reason. Why? And I'll tell you. Check this out. Follow this one. The basement, when we do it, I don't know if the office space that I'm doing for myself is too big, and it's going to make the space for my son and my daughter where they're going to play PS5 and have their friends and watch movies is going to be too small. Then if I make their room too big, my office is going to be too small, and I can't figure it out. So what has that done? That's caused me not to do anything. That's caused me not to do the deal or call the guy and say, hey, can we do something? But really, is it on me to make that phone call? Let me ask you something. Could this basement have been started 2 weeks ago? What would have caused that? Thank you. Call me. Hey, what's going on? Just wanted to follow up on the quote that I sent you. Have you got any reservations? Actually, I'm glad you called. I can't figure out the damn sizing of the rooms. Okay? Well, here's what's happened. Before we ask for the business, let's solve the problem. But I like it. I like it, right? That's exactly the place we're going down. Now, how do you solve the problem? You followed up. You got in touch with me. You actually made a point to just call and say, hey, how's it going? You got any questions? Why haven't you done anything? Did you go to somebody else? Do you have any problems with anything? Actually, I'm glad you called. I can't figure out the damn sizing of the rooms. Great. Well, here's a solution. Here's what we can do with the room. Perfect. Hey, Dave, did that solve your problem? It did. Where do you go? You go, what's next? Well, nothing. I don't think so. Great. When do you want to get started? Boom. Basement's now being renovated. That guy hasn't called me yet. He hasn't followed up. Neither of them have followed up. So it's not on me. And when we, all of us, are the people on the other side of that, it is up to us to do that follow-up. This is one of the biggest areas in this entire business that most people in this room fail at. And I'm sorry, but it's just the way it goes. Because we're busy, because we wear many hats, because we got a lot of things to do in life. But follow-up is crucial. Because if you don't follow up, you're going to miss a lot of opportunities. And we know that money is in the follow-up. Now, on the overall, well, hey, you think about it, you go, okay, but I do wear a lot of hats, and I do have a lot to do, and oh my God, I can't take all day to do all these things. Great. That's why we talk about always building mindshare. And mindshare is the most important thing we can do as we're building relationships to get people to remember who we are. Now, I bring this word up a lot, mindshare. I remember years ago, a buddy of mine, Andrew, friend of Jason and mine, says to me, Dave, I want to have you on my show. I said, okay, cool. He says, I'm going to ask you a question. It's going to be pretty jarring, but I'm going to ask you this question at the top of the show. Are you going to be ready? I said, dude, throw anything at me. I'm ready. Let's go. So I get there, and like we're live, on air, and he goes, okay, first question. I said, yeah. He goes, everybody wants to know. I'm like, yeah. He goes, what the fuck is mindshare? Dude, why are you swearing at me? Like, no, I was just joking around. But, I mean, he seriously asked that question. I know a lot of people think that same question. They go, what is mindshare? I'm trying to understand the concept. And so here's what I want to do for a second, okay? You guys have been a pretty rowdy bunch so far. So I like it. We got to bring up the energy and the noise in this room, though. You guys got to loaded next 2 days. So here's what I want to do, okay? Everybody together, I'm going to ask you guys a question. I want you to say out loud the first thing that comes to mind, okay? And you got to say it out loud, every single person, everybody in this room. Can we do that? Yeah. Yes? That wasn't everybody. Let's try again. Yes? Yeah. All right, cool. All right. I like it. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say a product. And I want you guys to say the first brand name that comes to mind. Okay, so I'm going to say the product. The minute I say it, you just yell out the brand name. Can we do that? Yeah. Can we do? Yeah. Dude, come on up, bro. No. Okay, all right. Ready? All right, here we go. Running shoes. Bam, you guys are good. All right, let's try this again. All right, hold on. And I learned that I got to do this differently down here because up north, if I said it the same way, anyways. Sodapop. Who's coming to the party tomorrow? You like that. Home of CocaCola. Love it. All right. We're going to try one more. All right. Fast food. Beautiful. There is always one in the room. All right? You know what I mean? All right, no, good job, guys. Okay, so here, I'm going to try one more, all right? So, we talk about mindshare, right? You get the concept now? Sort of like my buddy's vulgar question. We understand now what the answer to mindshare is? All right, one more. So if I said, loan officers and real estate, what's the first thing that comes to mind? You know what? That went exactly the way it was supposed to go, all right? All right? Now, those of you that said EPM, that is the second right answer. You're definitely saying the right one. The bottom line, though, when it comes down to it, you know that you want people calling for you, right? You want people thinking about you. And when people think about you, you've got the mind share. See, because when they think about refinancing their home, they think about selling their home, buying a new home, investing in real estate, they think of you. And when you've got the mind share equals market share. That's how we grow our business. That's what I want you, one of the big lessons I want you taking away from today, is that when you go back and you're thinking to yourself about marketing, you're thinking about your social media, you're thinking about stories, you're thinking about, oh, I don't want to get on video. By the way, quick tip on video, if you had the nerve to get up today, look in the mirror, and still walk out of that hotel room, you can do video, all right? Let's go. You know what I mean? But when you're thinking about it, and you're thinking about your marketing, and you're thinking about what you do to build your business, think about, am I building enough mind share? Because if you're reserved and you think to yourself, I don't want to get out there, I don't want to be in front of people, I am scared of what they're going to think, guess what? Somebody else is going to step in front of you and take your business. We got to own that shit, right? You got to go after those people. Now, how do we do this? And this is, it's nice to talk about this, Dave, but why don't you give us some action steps over here? I like your thinking. Let's do this. First thing, first and foremost, who are you? Figure out who you are. Figure out what you love. Figure out what you like. Figure out what your interests are. Think about it. And in fact, pull out a pen and write this stuff down, okay? I want you to come up, and this is an action step for you right now. I want you to come up with your lifestyle list. Lifestyle list, right? You're going to come up with 5 to 10 macro topics for your lifestyle list. Okay, this is going to help you figure out you. It's going to help you figure out your voice and your brand and your message and what you're doing to get out there with people, your lifestyle list. So let me give you an example here. Anybody follow me on Instagram yet? Shit, thank you, one person. Damn. All right, well, David Greenspan 101. No, check me out on Instagram. David Greenspan 101, but I'm telling you now, if you go to my IG account, one thing you're going to see about me, you're going to see that I love my game of hockey. I love my game of baseball. I love the shit out of my family. I love what I do for a living as a coach and a speaker and a trainer. And not only do I coach professionals, but I coach the baseball team, AA hockey and AA baseball. So I love coaching. And I love my Harley Davidson. Anybody else ride a Harley? Cool, again. Oh, a few people. Good, I like it. I took the Smoky Mountains on my way down this trip. It was awesome. It was just too cold, so I couldn't ride. But anyways, point is, those are my 5 macros, okay? I got hockey, baseball, family, coaching, and Harley. When you follow my Instagram, when you follow my social media, you're going to see that is David. So the guy that you're seeing right now is the exact same guy you're going to see on social media. There's nothing fake. Okay, I didn't go buy followers just so I could look cool. None of that. This is real deal. And you got to find the real deal you. So think about it. What makes you you? Okay? Write down your lifestyle list. And it could be 5 macros, it could be 10 macros. Now, once you figure out your macros, break those down into micros. So if we said family is one of my macros and I go family, well, now what I'm going to do is say, okay, I could talk about birthdays, and I could talk about, life events, and I could talk about, like, playing game night and watching a movie and watching my kids ride a bicycle. And, I got all sorts of content I could create based on what I know about me. Does that make sense? All right? That's how you can come up with between 50 to 100 pieces of content in less than 30 minutes that are going to be completely unique to you. And if you have no idea what to put out there, ask a friend, ask a colleague, ask a significant other. Hey, what do you see? Maybe your thing is you like to play the flute. Maybe you love cars. Maybe you love to knit. Maybe you love water. Maybe you love, traveling and whatever. Whatever it is, write it down. Now you got something to say, because now you know who you are. So we figure out us, then the next thing we do is we figure out our audience. When you're making your phone calls, when you're having conversations, learn. Listen. Figure out what the needs and the problems are and come up with solutions for them. So much the same when you're making phone calls to people and they're telling you about something, one thing you want to start doing is start documenting everything that they're talking about. Why? Because we're going to leverage this content in our content strategy, and we're going to go back out to our audience. We're going to send them stuff that's of value. And by the way, value, motivate, educate, inform, and inspire. Right? We talk all about value. That's value. But we think about taking that content that we learned, those questions that we ask people, the answers that we got, and we're going to feed it back to our audience. And we're going to do that in the form of a newsletter. We're going to do that in the form of social media posts and videos and website content, blogging. Now you got something to say. Now, once you figure out who you are, you figure out who they are, you've got this whole content strategy together, and that's one of our big trends going into this year, right? Have something to say. And we've been talking about this for a few years now. But once you do that, it's important that you implement a cross-channel marketing strategy. Ever heard that term, cross-channel marketing strategy, right? Multi-channel approach, right? Do you guys know that there's only 7 ways to communicate with another human being? 7. That's it. And I leave radio and television out of the mix, right? Because they cost a lot of money. But 7 ways to communicate with another person. That's it. Now think about it. We got the active touch points and we got the passive touch points. So the active ones are the ones you have to be involved in, doing that follow-up, making those phone calls, going to see people, sending text messages to people. Write those down. Active touch points, in person, by phone, text message. And these could be used for both the people we know and the people we don't know. Those are the ones you're involved in. The other 4. We got direct mail, we got email, we got social media, and we got websites. Now, one thing about websites, if anybody here says to me they got like a lead generating website, I don't know who fed you that shit, but websites don't generate leads, all right? Let me just tell you straight. Like, they just sit there. That's all they do. They just sit there. You got to tell people they're there. You got to advertise to people. You got to build enough mindshare that people go, oh yeah, I'm going to go check her out. So now that you did the promotion and built the mind share, now you've driven them to the website or the landing page, and now there's an opportunity there to do what? Capture the lead. So let's not have these misconceptions about what your website's doing for you. It just sits there. It's you who has to go out and do. It's you who has to spend the money. It's you who's got to put the time and the energy into getting people to know that you exist. When you do that, that website will support you. But you got to have it, right? When we talk about social media, I mean, I could go on and on about social media today, but you got to use it. And I'll tell you now, there's a lot of free ways that you can leverage social media on a daily basis. And as long as you act with purpose and you engage with other people, you work every single day to build relationships with other people, you don't have to spend a penny on social media, and it'll work wonders for you. But you have to put in the time and the effort. Remember, one guy called me up one day, and he says, yeah, I'm going to spend like $2,000 a month on social media. I'm like, why? He goes, well, I just don't have the time. I'm like, dude, that's like $24,000 this year. He's like, I know. I go, why? He goes, I just told you I don't have the time. I said, do you realize how much harder you're going to have to work to pay that money back? You've actually just caused yourself to spend more time working so you could pay the bills for this when you could have just clicked the button. He's like, man, you make me feel like an idiot. I'm like, dude, I'm just repeating what you told me. It just doesn't make sense. Fuck, I'll do it for half price. but seriously, right? You think about it, you got social, you got web. Now think about email and direct mail, okay? And I know every time I say direct mail, there's some people in the audience going, is this guy okay? He's got a fever or something? People don't use direct mail. In fact, I'll tell you something, though. Did you know that 73% of millennials in the United States of America prefer direct mail over email? Did you know that? It's a bright, shiny object. It's cool. They don't get that stuff. It's like, it's cool. Right? And when it's personalized, you don't get it anymore. It's got that like warm, fuzzy feeling. You remember when you get those birthday cards that are handwritten, like with an actual pen? Right? All right? So there's a lot of value in sending a newsletter, but I got to ask you something. If you weren't sending a monthly newsletter by email and or by direct mail, how would people know you exist? Like anybody driving around with a taxi, like a taxi cab with a light on top of your car? Flashing neon open sign in the window. Hey, I'm open for business. Hell no. Dave, come on, that's weird. Of course. Right? So people need to know you exist, so you got to get something out there consistently, and I'll tell you something right now, when we think about it, both of those channels work, but both of those channels, and follow this one for a minute. You, by leveraging those channels, get into my personal space. When you post on social media, you're not in my personal space. You're posting on social media for everybody, right? But when you DM me, you get in personal space. When you text message me, you get in personal space. When you mail me something, you get in personal space. Plus, I can ask you a question. Here, when you think of direct mail, okay? What's everybody think? Oh, man, people just throw that stuff out, right? Right? Yeah, they just toss it. I mean, except for us who like mail, but, you know. Okay, so here, what does it take me? Like 3-4 seconds, take it out of the mailbox, walk to the blue bin, and drop it off? 3-4 seconds? Yeah. All right. How long does it take me to scroll past your email and delete it? Yeah. How long does it take me to scroll past your social media? Faster than that email, right? And that email is pretty quick, right? So we cannot rely on only social media and email. Plus, let me ask you this. Where am I when I see your social media? Where am I when I get, what? Where am I when I get your email? Anywhere. When I get your phone call? Anywhere, right? When I get anything from you through here, I could be anywhere. But question for you, when I get that piece of mail, where am I? Thank you. How are we building Mindshare, right? So we're not just building a relationship with the human being anymore, we're building a relationship with the house. This way, when the human being thinks about their home, they think about you. So there's a rhyme and a reason why we use the 7 different ways to communicate. We don't isolate only to one channel and say, that's all I'm doing because, my people just don't want to hear it. No, your people don't want to hear anything. Like, who here likes to be advertised to? Nobody. Okay? So think about that. 7 ways to communicate. You got your content strategy. You know who your main audience is. Communicate properly with them. Now, the next thing here is I want you to think about online and offline. I want you to mix it up. Who here's got a puppy? Yeah? Do you take your dog for walks? Thank God. Okay. Do you go to the park? Are there other dogs there? Do you go to the same park all the time? No? Why? All right, that's okay. Well, who goes to the same dog park all the time? All right, cool. And do you see like other dogs that you recognize there? Yeah. All right. And do they have a Facebook group for that dog park? They do. They do? All right, do you admin that? No. Are you part of the group? I'm in the group. All right, cool. Do you connect with people on the group? I do. All right. Do you like make meetings and be like, hey, let's meet at the park today with our dogs and let them hang out? Sometimes, yeah. Cool. You see, I love it. Good job, seriously. You see, guys, this is important stuff, right? The dog group on Facebook is a place that you can connect with other dog owners who are going to have a similar interest as you that you can meet online and then meet them offline. Does that make sense? Right? So we went online in this Facebook group to meet these people. We then started to build a relationship with them there, and now we're going to move into meeting them in person at the actual dog park. Now, the whole thing could be completely reversed. If you have a dog and there is no Facebook group for your local dog park, why don't you start a Facebook group for the local dog park? And then when you're seeing people in person walking their dog and you see, little whatever all the time, and you're like, you know what, hey, you part of the group? They're like, what group? You're like, oh, wait, what's your name? You on Facebook? Yeah, cool. Hey, I just invited you. What we just do? I just met a new contact. What did I just make? I just got a new lead. Now, by the way, I hate that term leads. We people, right? We're real people, homeowners. But think about it. I just got a new lead. So I'm going to take that lead, I'm going to put it in my database, and now I'm going to start to build the mind share, build the relationship. So as you're thinking about your marketing, and you're thinking about how you go about getting out there and connecting with people, do not think about just online. Do not think I'm just going to connect on social, because all you got on social is a first name and a last name. And like we already established today, you don't own that data. Now, this is where support comes in, right? Our support marketing. Anybody sending postcards or flyers? Man, you just do everything, eh? I like it though, bro. It's good, it's good. Sending postcards, flyers, do you door knock? No? Why? All right, cool. So you're supporting the flyer and the postcard, like hyper-local in the social groups? Yeah, because I'm part of the town council. All right, cool. So I like it. Support. That's my point, right? Like, if you're going to send a flyer or a postcard, you're going to expect somebody to just be like, oh my God, that is the nicest postcard I've ever seen. I'm going to sell my house. It's not going to happen. Right? We got to be consistent. We got to be out there in front of people consistently, marketing to consistently, and using a whole bunch of different channels to make sure that we support one with the next. Look, guys, you guys aren't, this ain't a transactional business, okay? You're not selling pizzas, you're not selling TVs, you're not selling cars or travel packages. This is a relationship business. And every single day you're out there looking to build relationships, again, what we're all trying to do is bottom line, add more gold into our gold mine, AKA contact list, and just mine that shit. Every day, chip away at it a little bit. Talk to more people. Use a cross-channel approach and support what you're doing. Have content that's relevant to them. So now, as we go back to this Mindshare Model T, let's keep working on this for a second, because I told you I want to help you with the marketing plan right now, right? So we identified our two audiences. We just talked about a quick strategy between building content and using cross-channel approach to build Mindshare. Now what I want to do is I want to identify your budget for a minute. I want to identify what you're doing for your whole marketing plan. Think about this. You know, people ask me all the time, like, how much, right? And I'll respond back and say, well, you know, what's your budget? And I say, well, it depends how much it costs, they say. I'm like, depends how much it costs. You filthy rich? Like, you win the lottery? You got all the money in the world? No, of course not. Okay, so let me ask you something then. Why does it depend how much it costs? Do you understand that I'm a marketer, I'm a strategist? I could paint you a $25,000 a month picture. Oh, that's too much? So then what's your budget? Right? You understand? You can't just go spend money, throw shit at the wall. Like I told you before, money ain't the solution to complacency, right? So the whole thing is to figure out your money. How much money do you have? Let's do this quickly right now. And you may need to do this as a little bit of homework when you go home. But think about your needs and think about your wants. What do you need to bring in every single month to pay your bills? How much money is that? And don't answer this out loud. Is it 1,000? Is it 5,000? Is it 10,000? What are those bills, right? And don't forget, you got to bring that money in. You got to pay the tax man. You know, you got to do all that stuff. We got to have that money left over. Needs. So total up all of your needs at home, in business. Total them up. Then total up your wants. All the stuff that you want to do in life. All the things that you know, we're allowed to want. You want to go to the game. You want to have some fun. You want to go for dinner, for lunch, or whatever. Go. Total those up. Now we're figuring out between our needs and our wants how much money we've got to bring in every single month just to be able to run our house, just to be able to run our life. Now I ask you, how much money do you have left over for marketing? And this is the part where people are like, I don't know. Well, I'm going to tell you now, you do the gut check. Okay, because once you figure out your needs and your wants and you get hit in the forehead to go, oh my God, that's how much I spend every single month? Yeah. Now you can figure out how much more money you can spend on marketing. And so I'll ask you the question just like this, and this is what I want you to do with yourself, right? Can you do $100 a month? Yeah. Could you do $200 a month? And if right away you're like, whoa, that's a lot, hey, that's okay. Do not compare yourself to anybody in this room. Compare yourself to the person in the mirror. That's the only person that's your competition. Let's go, right? So be comfortable with what it is. We can always grow. But let's just say for a second here, you go like, yeah, I could do $200 a month. Cool. Could you do $400 a month? Yeah. Could you do $800 a month? Whoa, that's a lot of money. All right, cool. Could you do $700 a month? Could you do $600 a month? Yeah, meh. You know, okay, 500 is your number. See, what I'm doing is I'm doing the gut check. I don't care what you tell me from like the ego that you can do. I want to know like where it scares the shit out of you, where you're like, that's just a lot of money. Because the next question I'm going to ask you is, can you do that $500 a month next month? Can you do it the month after? And as you're like, yeah. Could you do that for the end of the year, like 12 months and not make a penny? What? Not make a penny? Well, I mean, it's not the way we want it to go, but let's just say it did. You spent $500 a month, $6,000 this year. Could you afford that? And if you're thinking, yeah, perfect. See the dollar signs there? Replace those dollar signs with your budget. $500 a month, $6,000 for the year. We are good to go. Make sense? We now have our budget. The next thing we want to do is we want to itemize everything we're doing for marketing. So if you think about the 7 ways to communicate that we just went through, and you think about everything you do for marketing, I want you to write it down. But just before you write it down, make sure you understand which audience it's going to. So if you're doing those postcards, they're on the right side, group number 2. If you're doing the newsletter to the contact list, that's on the left side, group number 1. If you're doing social media but you're not spending money, that's on the left side, group number 1. If you're doing an email blast to your list, that's on the left side, group number 1. If you're doing social media advertising, that's on the right side. If you're doing website advertising, understand SEO. So we've got to think, is it people I know or people I don't know? Write it down. Now, once you write it down, I want you to put a dollar figure next to that. How much per month did that cost me? Well, that one cost me this, and that one cost me that. And here's the beautiful eye-opener. You will realize that you're probably spending more money on group number 2. But hold on a second. Wait, there's more. 70 to 90% of our business comes from group number 1. We agreed on that, right? All right. That means only 10 to 30% of our business come from group number 2. Yet for some reason, everybody has this whole thing ass backwards and spends 79% of their dollars on group number 2. Why? Well, Dave, I was told that you got to put 20% back into your marketing budget. Who told you that? I mean, I know there's a lot of books that say it, but it's not really the way it works. You got to think about how much money you're bringing in. You got to think about what you're doing for marketing. You got to think if it's effective. Hell, you don't need to blow your entire marketing budget if you are using all 7 ways to communicate, talking to the right audience, delivering the right message, and building a ton of mind share. You just don't. So the whole key is here, focus on the people you know. Get those people into a system that you can market to them. And if anybody here says that they got their contact list in here, look, your smartphone is smart, but it's not that smart, okay? It doesn't have all the pieces that you require. What we really need is we need a system that is going to have a contact list, a calendar, and marketing attached to it. As long as your system has those 3 pieces, now you can set up the active touch points. Hey, system, remind me when it's time to call people. Remind me when it's time to follow up. Remind me when it's time to send a birthday card. Hey, system, send out the newsletter for me. I don't want to think about it. I'm too busy. So again, you want to hold an event? Yeah, you could do that through Facebook. But again, how would you actually send cards to people? You want to invite people somewhere? How would you do that? If you had to do a quick email blast right now, could you do it? Right? You got to think, where is my contact list, right? Again, thinking about owning our audience. Now I know, and again, we keep talking about this, we want to keep meeting new people. So here's a quick one for you. You want to meet new people, but may not have the budget to spend on these big advertising campaigns online. Or maybe you think to yourself, I just don't want to spend all that money anyways. I'd like to get creative with this thing. So here's an idea for you. When you're talking to clients and your clients tell you about something that's going on, and you start to listen and you start to learn and get the vibe from your clients about what they're talking about, what their complaints are, what their concerns are, and you start to take that and you turn it into content. Well, now you could create a quick one-pager that answers all of their questions. So here are the top 5 answers to the top 5 questions that everybody I'm talking to has. Would you like to know what they are? Download here, right? So what you're doing now is you're creating a lead magnet for yourself. So think about this. I told you the websites don't generate leads, right? All right. Come up with a one-pager about something. Throw it onto a landing page. Have a little bit of a lead capture mechanism. Have that landing page connected to your CRM. Now you've just started to generate your own leads online. Now just promote the shit out of that. Simple. Just needs a little bit of creative juices, right? Just to think about what it is. Then I can put it across my YouTubes, and I can put it across my socials, and I can blast it out by email, and I can put it out to people while you're here. In fact, let's try this right now. Here's what I want you guys to do. Everybody go over to mindshare101.com/Facebook-DL. Go over there, okay? mindshare101.com/Facebook-DL. Okay, download that. It's a little one-pager, completely free. Download that. All right, grab that. I want you guys to put some effort into that after. I want you guys to pay attention to what it's saying to you. It's going to give you some instructions on how you can get out there and you can connect with more people. Look, you want to add more people into a database? You want to get to know more people? You want to have more opportunities with people? This is about truly understanding how to own your audience. This is about getting out there and using a cross-channel approach to build the mind share with people. This is going to walk you through exactly how to download your friends list from Facebook. It's not rocket science, but think about this. How many people do you have in your Facebook friends list right now? Right? Lots, right? Thousands? So we've got thousands of people in our Facebook friends list. All we got is first names and last names. We've already established that we don't own the list. What this is going to do is this is going to help you own the list. Now, if you're going to give me excuses of, man, I'm too busy. I don't got time for this stuff. All right, cool. Just tell somebody next to you about that so that they can go and take your business. Oh, yeah, I want you to think about it that much, just like that, okay? What we've been talking about today, guys, is how to own your audience. The importance of not putting all of your eggs in one basket when it comes to social media. The importance of understanding where your business comes from. We just went through steps. We identified who our most important audience is. I now want you to take an action step, and I want you to go through, and I want you to audit your contact list and ensure that you got complete contact information for every single person on that list. First names, last names, mailing addresses, email addresses, phone numbers, their favorite sports teams, right? What they do for a living, life events. Find out everything. Because the more you know about these people, the more you're going to be able to leverage it. So audit your list. Make sure you're using a cross-channel approach for that list. Make sure that you go to Facebook and you download that list. Then you take that list, you stripe it against the list you've already got in your CRM, take all the people from social media that are not in your CRM and put them in there. And then the same way I just said about leveraging and auditing your contact list, do the exact same thing for social. Start from the top and just work your way through. Think about what we just did with that. For everybody here that wants to generate new leads and get new business, I just gave you an easy answer for how you can go ahead and generate a shitload of new leads that are all quality of people that actually already know you and potentially like you. Now we just got to work on getting them to trust us. Look, you want to grow your business? We just literally walked through how you can generate a shitload of leads, do it for next to no money, and turn it over into a ton of ROI. Last thing you got to do, simply put, you just got to build that mind share. Put the consistency into the effort of building the mind share every single day so that you get that market share. Now, guys, listen. I'm watching the countdown timer over here. We haven't got a lot of time left. I don't know if anybody here is familiar with Mindshare X. Anybody heard of the Mindshare X program yet? We got together with EPM a few months ago to put on an exclusive training program, which is completely free for you guys. We were going monthly. It is, again, did I say free? Free? Did I use the word free yet? You got to join it, guys. We're going live every single month. We are doing another training. We are there. We're doing roundtable discussions, rolling up our sleeves, and actually speaking with each other. Not like this, where we come in, make you drink through a fire hose, and get the hell out of Dodge. The whole idea there is real learning. So I want to invite you. Check it out. Speak to the crew at EPM. Join us for Mindshare X once a month. This whole session, this training series is loaded. It is progressive. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys there. Now, just before I take off, and I know I got a lot of big lights in front of me, can everybody kind of just give me like a, yeah, just take a selfie with you guys? Yeah, cool, all right. All right, hold on. I got to put it on selfie mode, though. All right, cool. Give me some. Yeah! All right, hold on. Let's get that side. Cool, guys. Thank you very much. You guys have been absolutely amazing. EPM, you got a loaded afternoon ahead of you. I can't wait to meet you guys. If we haven't connected on Instagram, David Greenspan 101. This has been an absolute blast. EPM, you guys are the best. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Thank you.